So, welcome. This is Sam-Erik. Welcome to today's show. And our topic today is personal branding. How important is personal branding? Is it important to you? And is it something that you should be concerned about? Are you considered to be conceited or smart if you care about personal branding growth? Now it's a time more than ever to focus on growing your personal brand. And the reason is that companies are evolving. They want to what they call humanize their brands. They want to reach their customers in a very different and personal way and engage with the consumer and the customers. And whoever is better than that is the employees, the leadership, to have a direct contact with them. There are several examples now about companies that are reaching out to the customers directly through their staff as their brand ambassadors on the various social media platforms, whether they're reaching for the crowd who are hanging out here on Facebook, or they might be on Instagram, or the younger crowd on Snapchat, with their message and the different styles. So this is what is happening at the moment. When I raise the question, is it smart or is it conceited to think about your personal brand? I got some interesting feedback when I posted a blog on this. One comment was that if you lose your brand and integrity, you lost everything. And what it means is that when you're talking about a hotel company, hotel management company, or any company that has a management agreements selling their services, the biggest asset that they have is their brand. And I think that you should think along the lines on your personal brand. That's your most important asset that you have in terms of what you can do with it. And when you do that, then it opens up a great deal of opportunities for you to do something more than you have done until now. And there's always room for improvement. I know it for my personal self also. So we're going to touch here on these topics here. Why personal brand? Does it really work? How do I start? And who should do it? So I want to share with you first sort of my personal story here. I started with my career when I was in the early 20s, and I worked through all the way until in the hotel companies until I was in the early 60s. And after I left my corporate career, I found there was a gap. There's the old story that once you don't have a business card, corporate business card, who are you? And where is your network after that? Yes, you may have a network that you have nurturing for many, many years, but those networks are slowly but surely going to be as friends, but it's very difficult to develop new networks. I found that out. So I decided to try something else. I started to create my own brand through the consultancy, but more importantly, I created a brand called The Social Hotelier, which I opened up the very first Facebook page that you're looking at now. I started my mission was to help people like myself who are in a certain part of the career, but also help hotels, the industry that I love and my passion is, to help them to grow their business through the social media. But I also realized that in order to do that, you have to take it in certain steps. And this is what I learned. But what I learned is if I go consistently live on and tell my unique story here, I can also help other people. And that's what inspires me. But it also opened up more opportunities. It opened up opportunities where I'm invited regularly as a keynote speaker for tourism conferences, which we are talking about these very same things. I write regular blogs, and I wrote an article once for the Finnish newspaper for everybody, or the Finns who are here watching. It's called Kauppalehti, The question was about what are the Chinese market needs and how can they grow to Finland, and what are the particular things that they are requiring. And this article got traction, so there were hotel developers, hotel owners that contacted me to see whether I could help them out. So this nurtures into bigger and better things when you are regularly on social media, whether you are doing live shows, whether you are writing blogs or doing podcasts. So there are many ways how you can do it. So it really has worked for me. And I also learned and I watched very carefully how certain brand leaders are using the platform, and of course learning every day as I go by. So that's what I want to share with you about my personal story, and I'd like to encourage you that and inspire you to give it a try. I can assure you it's not something that will happen overnight. It takes time, but if you stick with it and you are willing to keep on learning, I can guarantee you the success will come eventually, that I promise you. So let's move on now to some slides that I have prepared for you, and we'll take it to the next step. So I will put up some slides here for you, and here we go. So here you are, is the slide. The question was, what do you think is the most important element for developing your personal brand? This was a survey made last year with a network called Elevate Network. And 41% were thinking about themselves as a thought leader, or they aspire to be a thought leader. So this is their attitude of being on developing their personal brand. 27% said, well, being great at my job. 12% said looking and dressing the part. And then someone else said down the line, well, heck if I know it. Or personal brand, who has the time for that? That was 3%. So this has clearly changed the attitude. How are people viewing a personal brand? So that's a snapshot of how personal brands are viewed at the moment. So the question is then that how do I start building my personal brand? Well, this is how I started. First of all, become active on top social media sites. What it means is that you look at LinkedIn, Instagram, and LinkedIn very important because there is an area where you are on. You can join groups, you can join discussions there and give your input. You should also look at opening up your Facebook page, not only your social profile, but in fact a Facebook page, because this gives you a chance eventually, if you can start to analyze the people who are coming in. You have more tools in the Facebook page to think it like from the business point of view, and they have better analytics, and also you can do more. In fact, if you want to get into advertising, this is your chance to create some advertising, because to grow organically on Facebook is very difficult these days. You need to place a few dollars into the advertising in order to make it work. Very important also to open up your Instagram account, not only the Instagram personal account, but your Instagram business account. And I will separately, I have made some shows about Instagram, how to do it, particularly focusing on writing your profile, which is very, very important. But also a feature in Instagram is also the stories, where the idea with the stories is that you bring your followers and your friends along to show your every day. So it's more about the entertainment and so on, and show you what's happening behind the scenes and what activities you're doing on a daily basis. So this is a very popular way how Instagram works. And the engagement on Instagram, it's much higher than in most other platforms, depending on what format you're using. For LinkedIn, write-ups, podcasts, and short videos creates a lot of engagement if you're providing some good content over there. The next step is that you open up your own personal website. And in that way, you can start to create some sort of a reason why you are there, create a mission for yourself and what you want to represent. And you can link your social medias and drive your visitors to your social media to your website. Websites are very easy to build these days. You don't need to hire anybody. They're ready-made templates. And this is something that I recommend you to do to get started. It's worthwhile to pay a little bit about getting a decent domain name and also a website service provider for yourself, that you have a secured site for yourself. Another thing, start blogging. You don't have like long stories. You just put some thoughts into it. The topic is what your passion is, and you distribute that blog into various areas like LinkedIn. You can, particularly LinkedIn has several groups, different kind of groups, depending on what your interests are. If you're on the hotel side, hotel sites, hotel industry has numerous groups, and I belong to about 4 or 5 of them. And I share my blogs in there, and also share other information. And also I talk about what are things that we should concentrate on when we are talking about how to grow our brand, and whether it's about creating that better engagement and interaction with our customers. The final thing is a podcasting. Podcasting you can do by recording your live video so it becomes a podcast. That's one way of doing it. Another way is that I'm using, I only do some mini podcasts. And I use something called Anchor FM, which is very easy to use. You can use your mobile phone to record your podcast, and it lasts only for 4 or 5 minutes. You can upload this podcast to the major podcast networks, like the Apple's podcast. There are several, so you can distribute these episodes. And this is a way around the theme that you can become more well known. So here you can see what we covered, a number of areas. We covered the social media areas, where you should be there. Also, where you should have presence in Facebook pages, Instagram, LinkedIn. I mentioned that from a professional point of view. Create your own domain name to have your personal website. It's not a must, but I think it will help to have a website. Start regular blogging, and you can use a WordPress for your blogs, and that's why I would put a website where you can park your blogs in there and promote them through different social media. And finally is the mini podcast. So who should do it? Well, I think this is I covered a number of areas depending on what part in your life you are or your career. If you're working for a company, think it from this point of view. One of these days, your job might go away. One of these days, your company may go away. One of these days, maybe the industry you're working may go away. And what you need, think it from the point that you're creating a safety net for yourself. And your personal brand is like investing into your career. By doing that, then you are being seen by potential employers for assignments. and I think you should show that you're thinking critically, and also that you demonstrate value to an organization. And you will not have to start to send CVs and getting no replies, but in fact you will have a chance then that people will start to contact you because you are providing them something which is of value to them. The second is bosses, meaning the leadership of a company. I think the role of the leadership is to educate. They should be the thought leaders of the industry and also empower the employees to advocate the brand. When you are a leader for an organization, for a company, people will listen to you, what you have to say about your industry. So it's quite important that you are also the leader who are nurturing and inspiring your employers to advocate the brand you're working for and give them the chance to have their voice heard as your in-house brand ambassadors. So then we are talking about the person who are between assignments. That's a nice way of saying that looking for a new job because the contract ended and I don't have currently a assignment coming up. This is more important than ever, not just to send out CVs and contact hotels or other companies for a job, but start to create content. Be a content creator in these platforms and engage with people on social media. And this will help you also to do a lot of networking. Continuously network, be visible. I see people who are contacting me to become to join my network in LinkedIn, and the reason they're contacting because they're looking for a job. But I'm looking at them, what value are they providing for any organization? How visible are they already on LinkedIn, which is the professional network? If they're just looking for, if you put on their personal profile that they're open for new assignments, I think that's not simply enough. And that's why it is very important that one start to share ideas, communicate with colleagues, read commentaries, and be very, very active and be visible, because this will help you to be in people. You're instilling yourself in people's mind, because normally how it's seen that when you're a person between assignments, you don't have a business card to present. And out of sight, out of mind. So this is very, very important. This is a way how things have changed from the past, where you relied on a headhunter to find you a job. Headhunter has a role to play. You know, they only remember you when they need you, right? So and so you need to take yourself and get yourself in charge of creating your brand and grow into this area. Now, entrepreneurs, moving into the entrepreneurs. You know, the customers want to communicate and be around thought leaders. They want to feel that they're connecting. They will connect with your business on a personal level, and they want to feel that you are someone who they can connect with. So it's not only that brand, and particularly for the smaller businesses, the entrepreneurs are very, very active these days on social media in leveraging their brand through these platforms. You know, whether you are you have a Facebook page or YouTube site where you are teaching people how to make soap or candles, and eventually you're selling those, or you're knitting some woolen gloves, or you're doing anything, or these are things that you can, first of all, you teach people how to do it, and then you can sell you can sell them the actual product itself. But you go from the point of view you are there to be a thought leader in that particular industry that you are in. So then we move on to the students. With the students, I think it's very important for you, because you are part of that digital native, where you have grown up and you have grown up in this industry of being everything in your fingertips through the digital. Probably you already have your first birthday, you got the mobile phone, and you already have a few generations of mobile phones. So this is where you interact with a lot of your friends, and you're active throughout the day in this. Now, whatever you put in social media will affect your personal brand. So my suggestion is that to be very, very careful what you are posting in there, because it will live on there for a quite long time. And if you get your grasp of your reins in your personal profile, you will also have a chance to get the attention of potential employers. And they, in fact, you should start to look, because if you have decided, you already know where you want to be in your career, you start to do some creating some content which relates to this. I'm not meaning that you want to be a billionaire. That's not the concept. You have to talk about something more tangible that you will be people will be interested in talking about. And this will give you a chance to be discovered rather than you have to start to discover them. So, that's my tips for students. Now, finally, my favorite topic is seniors. Nowadays, the generation of seniors are the baby boomers, who were the digital immigrants. And digital immigrants are quite new to the social media. But for instance, here in Finland, we have a TV show which is Seniorit Somessa, which are the seniors on social media, where today's influencers on YouTube and video bloggers go to the senior homes to teach the seniors how to use the apps, messaging apps, how to create their own vlogs, because seniors have something to share, which nobody else in this group that I talked about have. They have tons of experience, tons of life experience and professional experience, and they have limited network these days because they are not in an active working life anymore. But what they have something is that they have something else to share. And most of the things what seniors are suffering is that they are suffering of loneliness. And I think this digital network opens the world for you in a very different way. And it's very easy to start to use these tools now. And there's a tremendous way you can connect with people. So it's not about the age, it's about the mindset, which is important here. That if you have the mindset that you like to still connect with people on your digital network, then you can get into those different platforms. So what do you need to know? Well, I think you need to first of all think about generating content. It has to be good. When you do it properly, it will educate, entertain, and establish trust. I think that's one of the main areas that you should look at. And what happens is you will be discovered versus you need to discover them. So that's basically the tools I want to share with you about these platforms that are here for you to choose from. So what we covered is basically the different stages of your career, how you can use your platforms, and particularly if you are from student into senior citizens, how you can use the social media and to grow your personal brand.